What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. I'm Michigan Sports Talk here, and in this one we got some big transfer portal news again for Michigan, as they have offered a new wide receiver. There's also been some new crystal ball predictions going in Michigan's favor to land two other transfer targets. Plus, I'm going to be talking about a new quarterback transfer target for Michigan. We also got news on the 4-star edge Lugard Edokpe as he took an official visit to Michigan, and also Alabama hiring former Michigan linebackers coach George Hilo and what that means for Michigan ahead of the Rose Bowl. It's all going to be in this video and more, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so let's go ahead and start with what we've been talking about the most recently, and that's the transfer portal. And I first wanted to mention the Wake Forest wide receiver transfer Jamal Banks, as on Friday he announced on Twitter that Michigan has offered him. He entered the portal on December 8th, and he has already been on visits to Wisconsin and Notre Dame. Now he does have other offers from Notre Dame and Wisconsin, so Michigan does have some competition here, especially with Notre Dame, as he's already taken a visit there. But he is 6'4", 205-pound wide receiver, and this past season Banks caught 59 passes for 653 yards and 4 touchdowns, leading Wake Forest in both catches and yards. And in the 2022 season he had 42 receptions for 636 yards and 9 touchdowns. Now he is another guy who comes from St. Francis Academy out of high school in Baltimore, Maryland. We've talked about that before with the Maryland linebacker that Michigan is going after in the transfer portal, Jayshawn Barham. As Michigan, they have good ties to St. Francis Academy, so obviously the next step would be to get him on campus for a visit, but that is now Michigan's second offer to a wide receiver in the transfer portal. The first one was the Indiana wide receiver Donaven McCulley, but we do have new news on Donaven McCulley, and with this news I do expect Michigan to definitely prioritize in getting Jamal Banks from Wake Forest, because according to 24/7 Sports, Matt Zenitz and Steve Wiltfong, McCulley is now expected to withdraw from the transfer portal and return to Indiana next season, despite getting interest from a ton of Power 5 conference teams like Michigan, Penn State, Texas A&M, Nebraska, and multiple others. So that's the latest on wide receiver recruiting in the transfer portal for Michigan. Looks like Michigan isn't going to be able to get a chance to get Donaven McCulley, as he is expected to return to Indiana now, but they are now going after the Wake Forest wide receiver Jamal Banks. Now I did want to talk about some crystal ball predictions that have come out and are going in Michigan's favor now. The first one is Upton Stout, the cornerback from Western Kentucky. We talked about him a lot. He was, I think, Michigan's first offer to a transfer portal target this cycle, and Michigan now has 3 crystal ball predictions to land him. They got 2 of them on December 13th, and they got another one on December 14th, which was yesterday. So definitely some big news there. It's a position that Michigan really is going to need next season with the loss of Mike Sainristil, and he has a ton of experience. Michigan, they do like him as a Mike Sainristil type of role, as he plays nickel and cornerback, so would be a big time pickup. He's played 4 seasons of college football, 2 at North Texas, 2 at Western Kentucky, and in 21 games over the last 2 seasons with Western Kentucky, he has 73 tackles, 2 tackles for losses, a half a sack, 5 interceptions, 2 of them who were pick sixes, 15 pass breakups. So definitely would be a big time land for Michigan to get Upton Stout. And Michigan did get a new crystal ball prediction, actually 2 of them in the last 2 days, to land the Maryland linebacker Jayshawn Barham. He's another guy from St. Francis Academy out of high school, and we talked about it earlier in the week how Michigan was favored to land him, and he's also already taken a visit to Michigan. He was a former 4-star recruit out of St. Francis Academy, and he's already started in 23 games over the past 2 seasons. In his freshman season he had 58 8 total tackles and 4 sacks. This past season, he had 37 tackles and also recorded his first career interception in Michigan's 31-24 win over Maryland. So Michigan gets some crystal ball predictions in favor to land Upton Stout and Jayshawn Barham now. And I also wanted to talk about quarterback transfer portal targets for Michigan. Obviously, we've talked about Dante Moore, as he is still a target for Michigan. I think it's mainly going to be between Michigan and Oregon, depending on where he goes. But I think now he's mainly looking for development. But another quarterback that Michigan could be going after is the Texas quarterback transfer Malik Murphy, as he entered his name into the transfer portal this week. He's a 6'5", 238-pound quarterback. He did redshirt last season, and he moved into the backup role in 2023. And while Quinn Ewers was out with an injury this season, he did start in a pair of games, and Texas won a 35-6 win over BYU. Completed 16 of 25 passes for 170 yards with 2 touchdowns and an interception. They also barely escaped with a win against Kansas State, but they still won. He went 19 for 37 for 248 yards with a touchdown and 2 picks in that one. So obviously could use some work, but he does now have experience, and he was a former 4-star prospect in the 2022 class. So another option for Michigan at quarterback in the transfer portal. And I also did want to talk about real quick here some recruiting news, as Michigan hosted the 4-star 2024 edge Luggard Edope on an official visit this week. And according to Bryce Marriage of the Michigan Insider, he said that the Wolverines killed it on this trip, as he really connected with the coaching staff, especially with Mike Elston and Dylan Ronnie. And right now he is leaning towards Michigan being the team to beat in this recruitment. It would be a big time land for Michigan. They need another talented edge in this class, and Luggard Edope would be a phenomenal addition. He's definitely got a lot of talent, and I think Michigan could develop him into a very, very good player on the defensive line. So Luggard Edope's official visit to Michigan went really good, and Michigan killed it. And now the next thing I want to talk about is some interesting news that came out yesterday, as Alabama and Nick Saban hired former Michigan linebackers coach George Hilo. And it comes at a very interesting time, as obviously Alabama plays Michigan in the Rose Bowl 2 weeks from now. Now, he did start his coaching career as an intern at Alabama in 2012, so there is already a built-in tie there. However, he was Michigan's linebacker coach from the 2021 and the 2022 season, so it's obviously a clear emergency addition for Alabama. It was announced that he will be beginning work immediately, as he will be helping Alabama prepare for Michigan and most likely giving them tips on Jesse Minters and Michigan's defense. So pretty interesting there. I would say, even though it is legal to do that, you could say it's almost the same thing that Michigan got knocked for in Connor Stalions' alleged illegal sign stealing operation. But obviously, it's not really going to be that big of an advantage for Alabama. Michigan obviously knows that they hired George Hilo, and Michigan, they will just do what every other team would do, and they will just adjust accordingly now that they know George Hilo is on Alabama's staff. But pretty interesting there. I don't blame Nick Saban, Alabama. I would be trying to get every advantage I possibly could, especially going up against this Michigan defense. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are on that. Some pretty interesting news there, as Michigan and Alabama set to play on New Year's Day in Pasadena for the Rose Bowl and a chance for a trip to the national championship. Other than that, that is going to wrap up today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure you guys go ahead, drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more if you are new around here. I greatly appreciate it. But other than that, we will see you guys in the next video. Go Blue.